Oh, they're recording. Hello guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys about the triangle angle sum theorem, little intro into the geometry course for next year. So the triangle angle sum theorem simply states that the angles in a triangle will add up to 180 degrees. Always, it doesn't matter what kind of triangle we have. So right here what I have is I have pre-cut some 4 triangles. I'm only gonna cut 2 to show you the example here, but I'm just going to use 2. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. The angles are kind of small. They're cute. And I'm going to use this big one, because it's an obtuse one. So you guys could see. Because these are pretty much similar. So I want to show you at least those 2 examples. I want to show you why and how it is that the angles always add up to 180 degrees. Now, there's only three angles in a triangle. There's only 3 sides, right? So there's going to be some similarities there. I want to show you what a straight angle looks like. Okay, so that's a little definition you're gonna have to know. So a straight angle, as you could see right here on this circle right here, a straight angle is literally just a straight line. So in geometry, anytime you see a nice straight line, you could imply that there's a 180 degree angle right there. So this is going to be very important because we're going to be using it right now to prove why the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So this straight line here, right, we know that the angle here, if I was to measure it with a protractor, that it was 180. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take off these corners. And keep in mind that this triangle is the same thing as this one. And I'm going to try to see if these angles could create my 180. So again, this corner, I think I had it over here a little while ago. The red one was right here. And the blue one was right here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just line them up on my line, making a 180. It's easier when you have something bigger, but I didn't have something bigger. So I'm just going to go ahead and just line them up, right? So there you go, right on there. And it doesn't really matter in what order you go, as long as they're all adjacent to each other. Adjacent is another word we'll be using in geometry. Adjacent just means next to. And make sure that the tips are right on the line. Right, so when I introduce this third one, this one should be lined up right there in the bottom. Right there. So we have the 3 angles that were initially on this triangle. They make a nice straight line. Straight line being 180. And just to show you guys that it doesn't matter whether it's an acute triangle or an obtuse triangle, they're still going to add up to 180. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to these. And I'm going to just line them up the same way. Just somewhere along a different line. Okay. Oops. They're kind of too small here, but they will do the job. And then the last one is right here. Alright, so this last one will fit, connecting the puzzle perfectly. So again, we have 3 angles in a triangle. They make a nice line and they always make a 180. And that's the important thing out of this lesson. Move these little piece of papers around. And so how is this used? Well, in general, if you know that the angles add up to 180 degrees, at this point, let's say we had a triangle. All right, let's just say we had a random triangle here. And let's say that in this triangle, you had the vertices A, B, and C. Vertices, corners, same thing. So we named this triangle. We use a triangle to symbolize a triangle. A, B, C. My angles are A, B, and C. Let's just say that angle A was 40 degrees. angle B was 60 degrees, and you did not know what angle C was. Notice how I just indicated by putting an X in it. This is where algebra kicks in. Nothing crazy though. Well, because we know that the three angles should add up to 180, it's like saying that angle A plus angle B plus angle C should give me 180. But I already know that A is 40. I already know that B is 60. I don't know what C is still. I'm calling it X for now. But again, it is equal to 180. So all we do is simply solve for X. We combine our like terms and we solve it using, the basic algebra stuff that we've done in the past. So we know that X must be 80 degrees. So I know that angle C, the measure of angle C must be 80 degrees. And that's it. Okay, a lot of you guys are going to want to take shortcuts, and honestly that's fine with these simple problems. If you know that they add up to 180, you could have simply just added and subtracted from 180 right off the bat. Here goes another one. Let's say we had a nice right triangle. In a right triangle, you automatically know that there's a 90-degree angle indicated by a little square. Let's say this angle right here was 30 degrees. And you were looking for this one right here. Well, once again, we know that the angles add up to 180. Anytime you see a little square, you could automatically just say that that's a 90-degree angle. And so we have a 90, a 30, and an unknown value, but those three together will add up to 180 degrees. Again, solve for X. 90 and 30, that's 120. Simply do the minor algebra by moving this to the other side. And so I know that X has to be 60 in order for the angles to add up to 180. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of triangle they throw you. You could have an obtuse one, and it's still the same thing. They could tell you that this is 120, right? And that this is 50. And you have to solve for X. Again, just simply ask yourself, what are the angles? What are the three angles? Oh, and it doesn't matter what order you go. I have an X, I have a 120, and I have a 50. And notice how I'm adding them and setting them equal to 180. And after that, it's just combining your like terms and solving for the unknown. Again, a lot of you guys will be able to do this in your head, right? So know that in this case, X is 10 because only 10 plus 170 will give me 180. With practice comes the shortcuts, right? But you must practice. One small detail I would like to go over before we continue is some little angle indications. There'll be times, and you'll see it on the next video, I'll go over it again there, but you'll see little markings on your triangle. So notice how these have both just one arcs and this one has two. All that means is that these two angles are the same and this one is different than these two. If you would have seen something like this, it just means that they're all different. Alright, just keep that in mind, and that's it. Again, the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees.